You must have heard of Arc Raiders by now. After months of agonizing waiting, it's finally here. So if you've missed the tech tests and want to catch up, or you're downloading it now, prepping your start and want to be ready, I want you to be prepared when this releases, because this game is no joke. If you want to survive out there, expand your workshops, and ultimately defeat the Queen, then this video will help you get a head start that you will need to avoid crying in agony from losing all of your gear. So I've got 27 essential tips that you'll need before loading into Arc Raiders for the first time. Some of these are beginner basics, some are high-level meta plays, but they'll all make you a better player. There will also be timestamps in the description, so if you want to skip ahead or save this for when you come back to the game and want to catch up on specific points, they're there for you. Let's lock in. Every enemy has a weak point. Learn them early. All AI enemies in this game are actual robots. You're going to want to pay attention to what you are shooting on them. Not everything in Arc Raiders is just a bullet sponge. A well-placed shot to a Wasp's thruster can end the fight before it even starts. The black panel over the propeller, for example, is only on the front two wings, but the unprotected back ones you can make quick work of. The bastions, there is actually a gas canister tucked away on the rear. You know what to do. Don't waste time dumping mags into armor. Scout first, shoot smart. And don't assume that the weak point is always visible. Some tougher enemies guard them and rotate away on you mid-fight. Aim at the vulnerable spots, work with your teammates, taking different angles to get the vantage points, and keep in mind, the longer that you are in a fight, the more likely you are going to get third-partied and killed by another team. You've probably heard about how good the sound is in this game. Sound is your sixth sense. And if you learn to master your sound cues, it's almost like gaining a superpower. From the hum of shield generators to the chirp of wildlife, every sound tells you something. If you see birds flying off in the distance, those are players that have alerted them. If you hear gunshots out in the distance, those are players either fighting AI, especially if it's lasting a long time, maybe something big, or in another battle with other players that you can get some loot off of. At the 5-minute mark, there's a huge Meteor event that rocks the map, and it does two things. One, it creates a massive sound cue that covers your movement. Two, it freaks out every bird and sets off every car alarm across the map. So those sound traps are temporarily disabled.
All Raiders, Arc on screen. 5 minutes left.
If this occurs for you, it is the perfect window to cross some terrain, flank an enemy, sneak past a squad that hasn't seen you. If you know it's coming, you see it in the distance even, time your rotations with the Meteor. Seriously, it's free stealth, especially if you're ever playing solo. Just stealthing through, acquiring some loot, and catching an exfil can go a long way. This is a game where playing with headphones will pay dividends. Learn the audio language of Arc. Not only is it epic, but it's very useful. Eye relief. This game doesn't just sound great, it's also visually breathtaking, and in some places, near photorealistic. You can use that photorealism, though, to your advantage with the game's simulated eye relief system. You can actually sit in a dark building, and people on the outside will have a lot of trouble seeing you. But on the flip side, be wary about approaching dark areas on the map. And that transition from going in to outside of the building can be a bit glaring where that sun is located. This is even further compounded by the fact that you have third person to take advantage of, meaning that you can go right up against a wall and look around it without actually exposing your character. You need to be utilizing this because other people will be doing it as well. And Just because a hallway might appear clear does not mean that it actually is. There can be somebody hiding around any corner, whether you can see them or not. Shield strength is visible. Use it to pick your fights. Take a close look at enemy players. See that device on their left shoulder? That's the shield generator. The number of arms extending from it, that's actually how strong it is. One arm is a level 1 shield, 2 arms is level 2, 3 arms, you better have backup. More shields means more damage that will be absorbed. Even better, though, those arms actually rock when the shield is low and collapse when it's out. You don't need to guess who's the weak enemy in a situation. So if you are third-personing behind a corner, not sure if this guy's completely stacked or maybe a little weaker and you could successfully pull off that ambush, use this visual cue to help. The ping system is powerful and loud. Arc Raider's ping system does more than just mark stuff. It's contextual.
Wasps, the car park.
You ping a crate, teammates see a loot icon. You ping an enemy, your character yells it out loud. Running in the open right now.
I'd fight him right now while he's in the open.
He's throwing a nade. He jumped. This is great for comms, but also risky for stealth. If you're ratting a building and you ping by reflex, your character will give away your position literally by shouting, "Enemy!"
Rockets here, by the launch towers.
With all of the enemies actually being robots and AI, they're not talking in this. So anything that does talk, or is even bipedal, looks like a human, it's an actual player. Be careful. Break your falls with a roll. It'll save your knees and your life. This game doesn't hold your hand when it comes to fall damage. Although it's not the most punishing ever, you don't want to waste all of your heals, which are so valuable, on healing fall damage. One slip off a rooftop can be a death sentence unless you time your landing. I tried this many times and wasn't super successful with it, but when you can, attempt to roll when you hit the ground, and it can help mitigate or cancel the fall damage. Within reason, obviously. You can't swan dive from orbit. The game does keep a sense of realism here. Shoulder swapping matters, especially indoors. This tip is useful for most third-person shooters, but when the stakes are so high, swapping shoulders is super important for getting better angles around corners. Some games like Fortnite are only ever over one shoulder, and so there's an optimal angle to peek off of, but in this game, you can do it on either. If your gun is blocked, your bullets are too. Arc has a dynamic crosshair, and if it's showing a little obstruction symbol, you're not hitting anything. The game simulates barrel collision, so if you're pressed up against a wall or an object, your shots will literally smack into it. This is especially brutal in close quarters, so give yourself a few inches of space, back off just enough to get a clean line of fire. In general, it's better to peek corners from further back as well, so you're not exposing your shoulder too early. It's one of those feels obvious in hindsight mechanics, but it's absolutely going to catch you off guard, especially if you're, like myself, more familiar with FPS games. You'll also notice if you're, say, on a roof at a ledge trying to look down, you might have the crosshair placed correctly, but because it's in third person, you can't tell. It's actually going to go into the floor. You'll pick it up quickly. Just look at the crosshair while you're shooting and get used to the feel of it. From barrel collision to barrel stashes make a tick sound. The barrel stashes are some of the best sources of mid-game loot, and they're sneaky sometimes. Listen for faint ticking. That'll tell you if one's nearby. Barrels can drop powerful gear, rare crafting items, even blueprints. Not the highest priority at the beginning, but you want to get out as many of those as you can. And if you hear the tick, drop what you're doing, hunt it down. Field depots and crates equal loot jackpots. Another great source of loot, the field depots are small terminals scattered around the map, but they're only useful if you bring them a field crate. You don't actually put them in your bag, you hold them in your hands, which means you also can't shoot. Be warned, carrying a crate does slow you down a lot. And if you are in a fight, please drop it and help your teammates, okay? You do not want to die carrying this. Carrying one of them to the depots unlocks the depot's inventory. You'll see a lot of these as kind of like broken down trailers. What's inside, though, could be high-end weapons, parts, or even blueprints that permanently unlock crafting options. Blueprints are permanent account-wide unlocks. Scored a blueprint from a depot, find one from something random you looted, better yet, got it off somebody who didn't put it in their safe spot. Well, once you find a blueprint, it is yours forever. No need to collect duplicates. You unlock it once. It's always available for you to craft with when you're back at your base. Some blueprints are full weapons. Others are crafting components, attachments. There's a lot that you can get from the main progression of the game, but really all the best stuff is going to be coming from this. You may also find some very high-end blueprints that you will not be able to use right away. You're still going to need to upgrade your workbenches and progress the quests. Tip I didn't learn until the end of playing this thing, you can actually craft consumables mid-match. Unlike some other games, you're not stuck to whatever you spawn in with or deploy with. If you loot enough base materials like agave, fabric, resin, or you even find something worth more and break it down in raid, you can get the raw materials and then craft stuff on the fly. If you run out of bandages, impact grenades, maybe you need shield recharges. You definitely want to do this outside of a fight, though, because it does take a bit of time. If you're in a pinch and you need it, you're in a long brawl with another squad, this is extremely valuable. Important to note, though, if you ever break anything down in raid, you're going to get less for it versus waiting and recycling after raid. Arc materials have multiple uses, so don't waste them. And these ingredients can be massive for you. The world is full of junk that's secretly valuable, and you can actually see what everything's for if you read the full description for it. Some things that just look like junk, like arc batteries, can actually be used as like a small shield cell to partially recharge your shields mid-fight. That's quite quick to take. This can be clutch if your meds are dry, you're clearing some trash on the way to the point that you're going. Even though it's gray, pick them up. Could be useful. Snitch cores can be used to call in an arc, which then wreaks havoc on even enemy players. But of course, they're not friendly to you too, so be smart if you decide to try that. Some items that you can pick up can be used for something, then it's also a grenade if you just throw it. Some have a mechanical use, others are quest related or crafting essentials. Some, while they don't break down well in raid, can be recycled out of raid into other components that you might really need for crafting. And while it doesn't tell you everything in that description, if you read it on the box, it will say what a lot of it is used for or even used to craft. And as you go through, you'll learn what you like. I kind of like that it doesn't tell you everything. You do have to learn and spend a bit of time on it, but it gives you a lot of direction, at least at the start. Just make sure you're actually reading it. Weapon draw times matter. Not all guns are created equal, especially when you're switching between them. The Pharaoh hits hard, but it's slow. Combine it with a snappy pistol, and now you got a powerful 1-2 punch with close-range fights, and also still being deadly at range. Practice your swap timings. Hit once with a heavy, switch to a sidearm to finish the job before they can react. Every gun has its own level, and it matters. Weapons in Arc Raiders aren't static. You have an individual level as well as a rarity with it. This is fairly standard, with gray being not great, green better, to blue to purple to gold being the best. But you'll also see a Roman numeral 1, 2, 3, etc. on these weapons that you actually can upgrade as well from crafting. All of this will make the weapon better, from recoil, mag size, reload speed. Some get incremental boosts, others, like the Rattler, get game-changing upgrades like doubling the magazine size. So if you find a gun you love, stick with it, grind it, level it, you'll be rewarded for the loyalty. You can further customize your weapon with grips, barrels, but here's the twist. Not every gun accepts every attachment, and attachments themselves also level up. If you find a blue or purple grip, That thing's going to be significantly more helpful in your recoil control than a base gray one. Fortunately, there's not too many attachments. And another extra tip here, you can use those slots on weapons to carry out more loot. So instead of taking up 3 slots in your bag, it's all within 1 that you can then put into your bag. Fortunately, this game doesn't have any Tetris looting type system. Every item just takes 1 square. And while bigger bags are great for carrying more loot, you're still going to run up against filling them up. Everything has weight in this game. Carrying weapons, while are valuable, are also very heavy. If you're super overweight, trying to make it to exfil, that might be something you want to drop to get a lot of kg back quick if you don't have time to figure out what to drop. Because once the clock hits 0, raid is over. I've died literally 1 second off. Do not let the clock hit 0. If you are getting later in the raid, you might start feeling more confident if you've killed a lot of people in said server that you deployed into, but be careful because more raiders will spawn throughout the match. Likewise, when you first deploy or spawn into a server, check the clock. If it's something like 30 minutes, depending on the map, that could be a brand new one that you just joined. All the loot's ready to get taken. But if there's 15 minutes left on that clock, this server is already halfway through. There's some people that are probably down bad, some bodies you can go loot. Maybe some people going for exfil that you could just go intercept. I had some matches with what felt like 20 kills. It was one team after another the entire duration of this. Then we think there's no way there's more people alive, and then another team shows up. Likely them just spawning in late to this raid. Optimize your inventory with consumables. Everyone knows how you can stash extra guns and gear in your backpack, but a lot of crafting material like agave and fabric also fits in a consumable slot. If you have consumables clogging up your main bag's spaces, put them into your quick inventory use slots. These are free extra spaces that, especially if you don't go in fully stacked, every single one already pre-optimized, you can make the most of what you are trying to loot in raid. You can change your shield mid-round, but not your loadout. Your shield is interchangeable. If you find a better one mid-game, equip it right there. But if you want to increase your backpack size, you'll have to extract and re-kit out of raid. So make sure that your back and loadout is solid before you drop in. You might be stuck with that for a while. But beware, bigger backpacks give you more space, but also cut down the safe slots that you have available, where if you die, you still keep that loot. So don't overpack if you're bringing rare loot and you can't afford to lose it. You can actually extract while downed, and you can even call in the elevator while downed. If you get knocked in this game, you can still crawl, and at a fairly decent rate. So if you can, make it to an extraction zone. A fight's going down. Maybe a third party comes in. You can successfully make it to that, and if you're knocked, still extract if somebody else hits the button. You don't have to res your teammate. You can just get to that computer and get the elevator going to save your knocked ally. But even the player that is knocked can go and crawl up to the computer, push the buttons, and force the elevator to exfil. But if your screen goes black before that, obviously, you're done. You can defib enemy players. Sounds weird, right? But it's real, so begging for your life might just pay off.
Bro, come on, bro. I'm so sorry, bro. Come on, man. We can figure this out, man. We can figure this out, bro. I have so much to live for.
Note that this is not just a normal res that you would do for a teammate. There's another special item in the game called a defibrillator, a defib. While it fast reses your teammates, it also can res an enemy player. Now, why would you do that? That's up to you. But they let you do what you want in this. And with proximity chat as good as it is, I've already seen it leading to some great moments. So whether you're saving them out of the goodness of your heart, setting them up to try and catch their teammates, or just feeling generous, unlikely. Outfits have hidden customization. If you grab any of the stylish cosmetics for your raider, they're not just skins like something in COD. They actually have modular pieces that you can remove. Hats, goggles, scarves. You can clean up or personalize your look without swapping full sets. With this game being designed for third person, you are going to care about how you look, and while Trip may not be meta, it definitely helps morale. Focus on upgrading your hideout. Your base isn't just home, it's the game's entire progression system. Upgrading your weapon bench gives you access to better blueprints, better gear, and even crafting shortcuts. Early quests are nice, but often they don't unlock much. Prioritizing loot that goes towards your bench upgrades or upgrading Scrappy, your friendly chicken who passively collects scraps outside of raids and even offline, saving your bacon if you lose most of your loot. The payoff is massive in the long term. Pick early, pick often. Herbs matter more than you think. You're going to need things like agave, fruit, and specific plants for quests and healing items. Some even tie directly into your progression, like lemons being part of key upgrades. Yes, lemons, no spoilers. These grow on the map's outskirts and are easy to miss if you are sprinting through zones. Start collecting early, and as your stash fills up, in the top left corner of your stash, there's a plus icon there. You can actually expand your stash. I recommend doing this right away because you don't want this value that you're extracting to go to waste. Now, outside of the crafting, there's also another aspect of the game. As you play, you earn XP, and you can spend that on a talent tree. Traversing the world, I think, is one of the most important elements. So focusing on stamina would be my personal first recommendation, while increasing loot speed, and a lot of these talents are very, very tempting. If you can run away better, chase down better, make that exfil that is so crucial, it's going to pay off a lot more. And so building your character for the long term is what I would essentially focus on. Do not waste these points. I think for a lot of people, this is going to be their first experience with an extraction shooter, especially on console and really at this scale. While it doesn't have necessarily the insane depth of something like Escape from Tarkov and the other giant extraction shooters, I do think this will still be a compelling game for many PC players, or even PC players that, of course, only play on controller. It is a chaotic world that has a surprising level of depth. So there it is. I actually threw in more than 27 tips there for you, but this will absolutely make you a better player. Tell me, did you learn something new? Are you ready to drop into Arc Raiders? Day one, I think, is going to be an absolute bloodbath. But if these tips help you out, let me know. And if you see anything else helpful in the comments down below, give it a like so we can all get better together. Like the video. Make sure you're subscribed if you're enjoying all my Arc Raiders coverage. Until then, stay alert, stay tricky, and remember, always check the Bastion's butt. That's for this one. Thanks so much for watching. StumpMouse64, over and out.